Patience, patience, patience.
I'm going to give it to you with no trivia. The New York Hardcore Chronicles live, straight from Bolivia. Live from the Upper West Side of Manhattan. On the planet Earth. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. How's everybody doing? I missed you. I missed you. Yeah. All right. What's happening in Peru? All right. How are all my people down in Peru? There you go. How you doing, Teresa? Good to see. The gang's all here. What do you say we do what we do? Let's talk about music. Let's talk about community and culture. Hey, Philip, how are you, man? Ryan Bland, my man. Bro, come on now. I saw you guys played the Gramercy with Fishbone. That looked like a great gig. Good for you, man. I know you love that band. Ryan Bland from Ache. His two favorite artists are Prince and Fishbone. Right there, right? Absolutely, man. Yep. Yeah, that's what's up. Everybody else, what's up, Sean Brennan? Yeah. Stephen Oswald, the high and the mighty. Okay, to get Rich Zoller, yo. Okay. I know you're excited, Mark, up there in Canada. I know he sent me a ton of shit. He's so excited about this show, you know? That said, enough of me talking about me. How about you talk about me?
Hello. Let's talk about you.
Hey, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
What's the word?
You know, I don't feel right when you come on the show and it's like, you know what? I feel like when you come on, I gotta like wear a hat, like, or it's like
just Too much round head.
You look like we're from the same clan, you know? Like what clan do you identify with?
Ford and Baldies.
Yeah. Leave the gun, take the cannolis. What's happening in listen, Federico in Norway? Wait, I'm a little confused. With a name like Federico, shouldn't you be in Italy? What are you doing in Norway, bro? Sunny Eastern Norway.
Oh.
Is Oslo? Is that in Western Norway? Oslo, I've been to. You know, don't fuck with the Baldies.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, what do you say we do photo of the day?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, photo of the day. Wrong answers only, please. Here we go. Photo of the day. Boom. Wrong answers only, please. Is it? Is it? What is it? Gerard Gallant? Is that the coach of the Rangers they just fired?
What's up, Ray Hogan?
Wait, you want to know something before we go deep? You want to know? See? 30 minutes east of Oslo. See, I got it right. You know one thing I remember about Oslo and about Norway? The water was really good.
Oh, I can imagine.
You're like right out of the tap. Like the water was like, wow. I could just drink this all day. Is it Billy Idol? Is it Kiss Unmasked? Is it Venom? Everyone's saying it's Billy Idol, Billy Idol, Billy Idol. Is it Blonde Elvis? Is it the dude out of Sum 41? Killer tap water. Listen, somebody should bottle that stuff and sell it.
Like Poland Springs? Like Norway Springs?
Genius idea. Is it Manowar? Is it the Captain and Tennille? Is it the Offspring? All right, that's legit. Is it Danny from D-Generation? Okay. Is it Billy Joel? I can't say enough about Billy Joel.
No one can say as much as you can about Billy Joel.
I fucking hate that guy. I mean, hate's a strong word. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I'm not trying to hate anybody. I'm a little too old to carry on hating people. But you want to know something? But you know what? Fuck Billy Joel. How's that sound? Right?
I don't hate one, but if I was going to hate.
Fuck Phil Collins. And fuck Styx. Everybody else.
There it is.
Everybody, hey, there it is. Everybody
there's your dream show right there.
I told you the story when we did the show. We got in the car, me and Rochelle. We went out to, where did we go? Sag Harbor for some reason or another. I get out of the car, I turn the corner, and I bump into Billy Joel. he's like eating at a cafe, and I was like, right.
And you said, I love you, man.
Bro, I love your shit. You have to come on my show. That's like some phony Hollywood shit. Oh, bro, I love you, man. Come on my show. I'd be more like, hey, why don't you come on my show and we'll just talk about how much I think you suck. Anyway, come on.
All this time he's been in the chat room under an assumed name, you know?
Right. All right, here's another shot. Come on, let's get this done.
Let's do it.
Stop dragging me into your lunacy. Here, same band, different shot. Okay, right answers only, please. Is it Vanilla Ice? Is it this New York traffic is totally bullshit?
That's for sure.
Listen, we did Gordon Lightfoot on the last show.
That's right.
Sundown, you better. Is it GBH? Is it GBH? Is it GBH? Is it GBH? Number nine. All right, what is it?
GBH. As a matter of fact, this is from last night. Amityville Music Hall out here on the island. A phenomenal show, by the way. GBH. It was at the AMH, GBH, and MDC, and a band called Nice, NIIC, Nice, and California band. But all three bands delivered. It was a really sold out crowd.
This guy,
There he is.
Lunatic. We love, yo, here at the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, we love this guy.
That's a great shirt too. Look at that shirt. It's awesome. Millions of dead clones.
Is
That's
that
a
millions of
great
dead
shirt.
stormtroopers?
Millions of dead clones. Yeah. Oh, it was good. He was in top form. GBH was in top form. It was, you know, because they're actually playing again tonight at the Gramercy.
As a matter of fact, Dave reached out to me and invited me down, so I'll probably be down there tonight.
Yeah, you got to go. Anyone who didn't go last night should definitely go tonight.
The thing is, like, my shelf life standing in the Gramercy is about 20 minutes. So
it was really, it was great. So,
here's another shot.
oh, that's
MDC, MDC, are there two singers now? What's going on here?
Yeah, the blonde girl sang like the whole second half of the set. They like traded off. It was a lot of fun.
She sang the stuff that Dave used to sing?
Well, no, they would go back and forth.
Ah.
And as you could tell, he's doing the the chicken squawk there, you know. But
he was a Nazi, but he's not now. He was a Nazi. Life even the score. Yeah. You know what? And this is the band that opened, right? Was this? How do you pronounce this?
Nice.
Oh, Nice.
Nice.
Ah, nice.
Nice. Look at nice colors. Nice.
Where are they from?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Very cool. This was the what is on his head? I'm looking at it. He's got the prayer hands on the top of his head, I think. That's a commitment to the top of the head.
This is a Los Angeles band, you could tell, because the dude's wearing an Amoeba Records shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm a New York dude. I'm wearing a Generation Records shirt, you know?
This was the first night of the tour, as a matter of fact. This particular show, and they were cool. They were very reminiscent of like early '80s kind of, you know, punk, a little more from the punk side, you know. But
you know what? I am excited about tonight because I have never seen GBH play.
Wow, they were so good.
They're just one of those bands. They're like bucket list. GBH, The Cure, Chicago. Just like 5 bands. I just never can get to see them, you know?
And they're celebrating 40 years of the City Babies Revenge album, which is my favorite GBH record.
Hey, got to shout out Todd Hamilton from Warzone. Our old friend Todd Hamilton. What's up, Todd? What's up, Todd? Good. Everybody's tail. Hey, speaking of tales from the punk side, I know it's been mentioned. I'm going to be out at the Milwaukee Metal Fest with Biohazard. What, did that cat stop licking himself?
He's falling asleep sitting up.
You know what? He expended all his energy licking himself.
It gets tiring.
Listen, I lick myself too. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, like licking my fur.
You licked yourself to sleep.
You know? You know what I wanted to mention? Everybody out there, to everybody that has asked, and we appreciate it. My dad, Arnie Stone, says,
there he is.
Arnie Stone says, what's up? You know, I have my birthday, you know, this show falls out on my birthday this year. My birthday is 2 days before my dad's birthday. I'm going to get him on the show for our birthdays. So I got to give you the info. I'm going to get a bunch of people on. I don't want to do a birthday show. It's a little much. But we'll find out a nice way to phrase it, you know. But my dad says hi, and he loves everybody, all you people that you know support the show. My dad's in awe of the worldwide audience for this show, you know.
I hope you have the happy hat.
I have the happy. I have it all, bro.
Yep.
You know, people say I look like my dad, but I just don't see it. I don't know what they're talking about, you know? So, my dad turns 90.
God bless him.
90.
That's
Or as my sister would say, 90 bitches, you know? So that said, all right.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's get on with the show. I'll talk to you in a bit. Don't wander off into traffic.
I'll be right here.
All right, talk to you later. What's happening? This is the one, the only New York Hardcore Chronicles live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, Upstate Records, and 126 Hardcore Clothing. They're a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Come on now, the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces. Actually, I'm wearing one of their pieces. Unique one-off pieces, as well as the style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.texassilverrush.com. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring our guest on. Everybody okay in the chat room? Nobody killing themselves? Rick to Life hasn't infiltrated? Well, hello. Kirsay to Life? Thank you. My birthday's June 28th, and we're doing a show June 28th. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's have a good time. These are the ground rules, you know? That said, I can be back to being au naturel. Here we go. Today's guest is an American singer, songwriter, model, entrepreneur, makeup artist, and actress hailing from the greatest city in the world, New York. As a musician, she is best known as the vocalist of the pioneering all-girl punk band Lunachicks. Please welcome, coming at us from Brooklyn, New York, Theo Kogan. Hi.
Woo! What's up?
How are you?
Good. I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. How's Brooklyn treating you?
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
You're a Brooklyn gal. You're born and raised, and you still live in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was actually born in Ecuador, but I live in Brooklyn ever since. Pretty much.
Have you ever lived in New York City someplace other than Brooklyn? That's it. Just all about Brooklyn.
Everyone always thought I lived on the Lower East Side, but I never did. I was just there a lot.
Oh, you too? Oh, you too? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we all sort of, it's like I told my kid, it's like we were standing on at Jesse's place at Alcatraz, at what do you call it? Niagara, right? I said, I probably spent, 3 years of my life standing on this corner right here. Literally, if you put every night together, 3 years of my life was spent standing on the corner of Avenue A and 7th Street. There you go.
Yep.
So let's get to it. Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life? How did you come up?
I did. My father and his siblings were all musicians, and my mom used to sing opera, sort of more for fun than anything, and I hated that. I really hated hearing opera, and we would get dragged to my dad's. My dad was a cello player and also conducted, and he conducted the Staten Island Symphony for many years.
Wow.
Which is like,
I didn't know that Staten Island had a symphony.
I know, exactly. So we used to get dragged to concerts, and it always put me to sleep. And opera was annoying. So I grew up with all this music that didn't really resonate with me. And then once I started to find my own way, then I found what worked and what, I was needed to be a part of.
What was the first music that resonated with you, that spoke to you?
Well, I mean, from my parents' stuff, like listening to the Rolling Stones and the Beatles when they had all these albums. My mom had like lived in Germany and she had all these like German Rolling Stones albums, and there was a lot of cool stuff to look at and listen to in my house. And then she got into Fleetwood Mac, and of course we have like Saturday Night Fever and all that stuff.
Speaking of Brooklyn, right?
Yes, and it's funny because later on I dated this guy who lived really close to the dance hall where they practice, not the club, but I went there too. Pastels. That was where the light up floor was, and that was out in I think that was out in Bay Ridge.
Bay Ridge. Yeah. Bay Ridge.
But he lived near the dance studio where they filmed a lot of the dancing studios spots in Saturday Night Fever, which was just a funny tidbit. Near the bus I used to take home. But where were we?
Eddie Medina, representing Oakland Powerhouse. What do you think of the opera now?
The opera, I mean, I respect it. I'm not. I can't say that I've gone to see any operas recently. I like a lot of music besides punk, and I have branched out a lot. But there's certain things that I don't know. Just like I'm not into it.
Yeah. Some things just
Like I hate musicals, even though I'm a singer. I can't deal with old like TV, like old movie musicals, some of them, but like even
like Oklahoma and shit like that. Like
I'm not trying to watch that now, but I watched it as a kid. But like I don't know when they like even the Hamilton and things like that. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I feel like I'm missing out on some like pop culture thing that I should be a part of, but I just can't.
I struggle a little bit with Broadway sometimes. I grew up in the film world. It's just such a medium that I grew up in and I enjoy and love. So the theater sort of still to this day, You went to LaGuardia High School. Well, so getting up to speed, you went to where'd you go to? Did you go to public school?
I went to public school. Went to lots of public school in Brooklyn. When I was a kid, my parents also got into all these different religions. And when I was about 7, we became Sikhs.
Nice.
And,
did you have to dress in? Did you dress like everybody dressed in white and everything?
Yeah, white, blue, or yellow were the colors. We wore turbans. We got up at 4 a.m. to meditate and do yoga and all this stuff. And then suddenly I was going to school and this white kid in a turban, and it was just for a long time I felt like it is a great story. I mean, and I've met other people. They're like, oh yeah, my parents got into, there are more people, less in New York, but like people I've met who grew up in California and stuff. I've met some people that ended up with their parents following some meditation, something or other. And so we were Sikhs for a year.
Wow.
And
it's all making sense now. Yeah. Woo, that explains it.
My light fell down. Anyway, so that happened, and we were in public school, and I got bullied a lot. I got my turban knocked off all the time.
Wow.
And then we stopped being Sikhs a year later. So it was again okay, now I'm used to all this, and now we're gonna stop.
Was that sort of? Was that sort of like all of a sudden you know what?
Yeah.
It was.
Well, what it was is
just kidding.
So yeah. So my mom is a feminist, obviously, and and she would get into these things, but then once they were like, oh, because with the Sikhs there was this thing called like women's camp, and they wanted you to go to women's camp, and like there they literally were teaching how to clean the floor and stuff like that. My mom was like, I don't think so. And they were like, you need to move into the ashram, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And my mom was like, no, I don't think so. And that was sort of like where she cut it off, which I'm glad, I'm grateful. You know, they were even talking about like sending us to a Sikh school at some point and all this stuff. So thankfully we got away without it.
Did you see Wild Wild Country on Netflix?
Oh yes,
I really enjoy. I've actually watched it 3 times. I thought it was I think it's the best thing. One of the if it's one of the best, if not the best thing that Netflix has ever produced. It's very good.
It's so good. It is so creepy, and it was like around the same, you know, in the same time period.
That's
like,
why I thought of it. Yeah.
The Sikhs followed Yogi Bhajan, who died, and then there was that my people that I know knew about them too, and they, you know, they're still going in India.
The Rajneesh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that said, you end up eventually going to LaGuardia High School, right?
Yep.
And how did that came to be? Or I don't. Do you have to? How do you end up in that school? Do you have to? I don't want to say audition.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
You have to audition. You have to
submit a portfolio.
Yeah. So I submitted a portfolio, and then you have to go in and have like an art test.
Okay.
So I did that, but when I was going in, I was like, I was also a ballet dancer, and I was sort of like, what do I do? Which thing do I pick? But I picked art, and it saved me. I mean, having art like a good chunk of the day was life-saving. Like I can't imagine having to go and do all academics all day. I think I would have lost it.
Seems like a great school to have gone to. I mean, it was a very I mean, of course, we know tons of people that came out of that school in that era. You know, I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Right?
And Sid and Gina went too. So then from there, that's sort of how the 3 of us, and then our friend Cindy, who didn't go to school with us, but was our friend who had a guitar also. And we were like, you know, that's sort of how the band was born with.
How did it come together? What was the impetus that sort of set it into motion?
Well, we were hanging out and going to all these shows when we were, you know, very young, and like 13, 14, 15. And then we were like 16, I would say. And all these bands that we loved broke up, and some people died, and, you know, all the things that happen with drugs in that time. And we were like, well, we like really good music. We could probably, you know, make a band without like thinking, oh, wow, you have to know how to play.
Right.
So we just started, and at that point, like my boyfriend then was a singer and a drummer, and so he played drums with us for like first rehearsals and first show. And Howie Pyro actually and Andrea, we played with the Freaks for our first show, which our friend Howie, who passed away last year, and it was just the anniversary of his death. But he was both of them and Andrea, both of them were very instrumental in making us get our act together. And
how did this sort of roles get determined in the band? Was it like, I know how it was when I started the High and the Mighty with my high school friends. It was like, you kind of have a guitar in your closet. You're the guitar player. You know, don't do anything, so you end up playing bass, right? Because it's easy. And like I had the biggest mouth, so I ended up the singer. You know, like what? How did the roles get determined there?
So it was kind of like that. We Sid and Gina both. Gina had a guitar that she got, and she started learning how to play. Sid got a bass from another friend, and then I was like, drums, got to carry a lot of things. I don't know. And then I was like, I'll be the singer, like literally. And I ended up learning how to play drums, and I can set up and break down a drum kit also, which I really enjoy. I love
a valuable skill set to have in this lifetime.
Yes, it is. And But yeah, so that was literally how it started. And, you know, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. So things go into motion. Who were the main influences of Lunachicks? Who really spoke to you guys and I don't want to say or influenced you as a band early on?
Well, there was a band called Swamp Goblins, which were around. They were sort of like a ghouly, garagey, creepy band that Lynn Vaughn, who's still around and plays, and there's a couple of people that are now dead who are in that band, but we were seeing them a lot and we really loved them. And then when I was like 15, I went and saw the band Frightwig, who are from California, and they're all girls. And that sort of like cracked my brain open because they were just so their own thing and so cool and like sick, and like two of them looked like they were like witchy beekeepers. One of them was pregnant. Then the third was like this giant like Barbie doll who was on drums, and then she would get up and be like, pull up her shirt, grab her guts, and be like, bleh! And I was just like, ugh! Like it blew my mind. And then I also saw PMS multiple times. I remember seeing Yana in the streets, you know, like St. Mark's years and years ago when I was like, you know, 13, 14, and just being like, she's so beautiful, you know, and sort of being in awe of her. And then even, you know, who, I don't think she was ever in a band, but like Natalie, who had dated Jimmy years and years ago, like she was so gorgeous and she hated me for whatever reason. But like, I'm like, sometimes I look at myself, I'm like, wow, I'm still sort of inspired. Like my look is like, someone said, are you into Wendy plasmatics? Yes, very much so, into the plasmatics. And like her look was sort of very like Wendy O meets Debbie Harry meets Joan Jett. And like, I still like, without even thinking about it, that sort of like was inspiring. She was so gorgeous. I wish
Lori Dawn says we were all in awe of Yana.
Yeah, right. She was a force and so beautiful.
And she had a great voice.
No, that voice was. I remember watching her at L'Amour's, which I used to go to a lot, and staring at her and like her mouth, watching her sing and like seeing like all the way back into her throat, you know, like just like being like, wow, you know, I was in awe of her too. She's so cool.
You know, I was going into my archive and, you know, put in, you know, Lunachicks and Antidote and a bunch of shit that I have. Okay. You know, I guess, you know, we were in the same circuit back then, that same sort of Lower East Side. Here we are playing the New York Scum Rock Labor Day Bash, you know, Antidote, Lunachicks, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember, you know, there was these kind of things were going on constantly. Here's another one that both our bands were on. This is a benefit at CBGB's a little bit later. I think it's in 1990. CBGB benefit, Antidote, Blitzbeer.
Oh yeah, we were friends.
Hammerbrain, Lunachicks, Murphy's Law, Token Entry. This was a benefit. I remember this for Minot's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Minot's infant child passed away very tragically, and we all rallied and played this benefit, you know. So, but you know, when Lunachicks first started playing, what were the venues or the places, or what was the circuit that you guys played?
Well, the very first show that we played with the Freaks, and it was also with Raging Slab, and I honestly can't remember who else, but it was at this, like, you know, a space that was maybe some sort of dance or acting studio or martial arts or something, and it was on Broadway, like north of Houston, downstairs in some.
Yeah, it was Yeah, it was the entrance was on the sides. It was right around on the corner there.
No, I know that one too, but this was like a one-off, like in like an office building type thing. And so that was the first one. Then we did like, a CBGB's audition night with Louise, who we were all scared of, and then she loved us, and we were like getting shows all the time. She was the best. And so we invited all our friends to this audition night, and we like packed it out, and they were psyched. And then we played, I think our second or third show was at Limelight in like the chapel when they were doing shows in there a long time ago. And that's when we got discovered by Kim and Thurston. Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth was there, and then called his English label, and the next thing we knew, we were going to make a record. And
was that Blast First Records?
Yes, exactly. And that was also something that was like, it never hit me, like a few things like this, talk about like things sort of hitting you as you age. It's like, I was like, wow, we're an art school band. Never realized that. Mm-hmm. And we were discovered at like our second or third show. And it never really hit me like that either. That was like one of those like right place, right time things that, it's fascinating to reflect on, I guess.
You know what they say, youth, it's a shame it's wasted on the young, right? I mean, it's so many of those kind of things. You're like, wow. But at the time, things are moving fast, it's, but then again, it's interesting. In another regard, we've talked about how in that era, things move really slow, like a summer, like the summer of 1989, like felt like a year. Like there's so much going on in one summer, when you recorded for First Blast Records, I'm reticent to say like signed with. I don't know if did you sign with them, but when you did the records for them, were those the Wharton Tears produced those?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And, we also did demo tapes with Don Fury, as everyone did.
Wow. Down in the basement?
Yep.
Well, I got to dig up the Don Fury basement shot. Go ahead. Yeah.
But yeah, we recorded with Wharton Tears, and it was supposed to be with Kim and Thurston producing as well as recording with Wharton. And then that didn't work out.
Gotcha. Here's the infamous entrance to Don Fury's studio. There it is.
Yep. Down the hole.
Down the hole. Get down. You want to make in this business? Get down in the hole. Yeah. Don's a character. He's up in Troy, New York now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he has like a whole real deal studio in Troy, New York.
Oh, good for him. Hi, Don, wherever you are.
Yeah, I was up there a while back interviewing him, and he basically said, for the money that it was costing me to rent a place in New York City, I own this building and I'm paying a mortgage on it,
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. Any recollections of recording this? Any perspective you could give us?
Yeah, I do remember. So first we started recording with Kim and Thurston. Then we that didn't work. So then we ended up doing the whole thing with Wharton, and I feel like he threw his back out beforehand or during, so he was like on all these muscle relaxers. And so Wharton's on muscle relaxers. We are now in, I think, Chungking, maybe recording it.
Chungking House of Metal
studio, I think, and I could be wrong. This is what I remember, and I remember it being really fun, and also eating a lot of Essa bagels because we always ate Essa bagels and Wharton lived around the corner from Essa bagels, so there was that in there too. Otherwise, we were new to it. It was like really, really exciting. And And then we shot it with Michael Levine, who has shot so many incredible, albums and photos. And we did even our last photos in 2020, we did with him. And
Wow.
he shot at least 2, if not 3 of our album covers and our first single cover. Yeah. So
that makes sense. Hold on, you know what I have in my notes here at this point? Things are rolling here, recording, playing a lot. Any kindred spirits, any bands that you just that you were connected with, that you just you felt really close with?
Definitely L7. I mean, when we met, I can't remember how it all started, but the drummer we ended up getting, Becky Rack, at first, was being courted by L7. We ended up nabbing her, but then Jennifer Finch from L7 basically booked us a run on the West Coast. So that was like our first time out there. There's Chip. Chip has been our drummer the rest of the way after Becky left. But
this is a little later. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, definitely L7. There were lots of bands that we played with here. We played with D-Generation a lot. We played with, the bands that we felt like, and like Red Cross, when we went out to LA, we were supposed to play with them. It was my 19th birthday that day.
Wow.
And we were playing with them at the Roxy in LA. And then I think Stephen McDonald was sick, so they couldn't play, but they were like, we're going to let you guys play, and then we're going to tell them that we're not playing. So we got to play, and it was so exciting. And the dress that I have in the Punk Rock Museum now, I wore on stage that night.
Wow.
If anybody's been there yet. So yeah, we have stuff in the Punk Rock Museum now, and it's literally from like that long ago.
Have you been to the Punk Rock Museum?
Not yet, no.
They just called me. They just reached out to me again about hosting some screenings of a couple of my films out there. So
cool.
Maybe that'll happen.
Do it.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Vegas, but
well,
yeah, right. Nothing good ever happens to me. It's just I don't like it there.
Make it quick. Not too many. It's like a day or two.
Yeah, I have to bring my girlfriend with me because she has to make sure I don't do anything bad. Like I can't. Don't make me go to it. It's like I feel that way about LA now too. I don't like going to LA.
Oh really? I love visiting LA. I have so many friends there. I have so many New York friends and other, and California friends. I love visiting, but I am glad to come home.
A lot of ghosts there. Thomas, Kate Schallenbach called you Lunachicks a major influence.
Oh yeah, so Kate was our drummer for like a minute. When we lost Becky and we had a tour, and so Kate agreed to do it with us. And honestly, we would have nabbed her if she hadn't had Luscious Jackson at the time, because she was such a great drummer, so much fun. Like, talk about a kindred spirit. Like, yes, like we love Kate so much. Like, I can't. And she had a rehearsal studio where I think Beastie Boys also used to practice with her on 14th Street. She's the fucking coolest. I love Kate so much. Yeah.
And Luscious Jackson was sort of getting up to speed then as well. And then,
they were starting to get up to speed, and then they took us out on tour too, and that was really fun. So yeah, other kindred spirits, different music styles, but total like kindred.
Sure. Another note I have is any unsung heroes of that era, like people that sort of maybe got lost in the shifting sands of time from that, let's call it the early Lunachicks, Lower East Side, early 90s. Anybody or any bands or who maybe didn't get their just desserts?
Any bands? Well, I would definitely say like the Swamp Goblins, into the Cretans, into Da Willies, into Lynn Vaughn is a major influence. Definitely Yana. Definitely Louise. I feel, even though Louise is famous for CBs, she was a big, cheerleader for us in her own badass, tough way. giving us gigs, and sort of unsung heroes.
Oh,
Other than that, yeah.
I skipped this photo. You have to give us some. What's going on here?
Oh, yeah. So that's me.
Sorry,
I don't think this has been seen before. That's me and my friend Julie, Julie was sort of like my like gateway to everything. So that's me. I was in freshman year of high school.
Nice.
And she was like a couple years. She was like a junior when I was a freshman, and we were in the same math class. And I wore like this sequin sweater, like a vintage sequin sweater, and she was like, "I like your sweater," and I was like, "Who are you?" Like, and then when I found out she was a junior, and she sort of like took me under her wing and dragged me out, and like she was the gateway to everything. So yeah. But
Are
you
still in touch with her?
Yeah. Yep. She still lives in Brooklyn too.
Oh boy. Boy. Never getting out of Brooklyn.
Nope.
Is this I couldn't is this an early shot, or where does this fall in the timeline?
That is around, I want to say 2002 or 3.
Okay. I wasn't sure. You sent it to me and I couldn't figure out is this an earlier shot or a little bit later?
Yeah, that's around I'm sorry, 1993. Yeah, 93 or 92.
That's pretty early.
Yeah, it's pretty early because I have only one tattoo.
That's why I thought it was early.
Yeah, and
I was trying to read the roadmap on your body.
Yeah. So that dress was made by David Dalrymple, who still makes my costumes, and he's the guy who designed everything for Patricia Field's fashion shows and for her store. And he made that, and the wig was, I think, a Danilo wig or Jimmy Paul that Miss Guy had that handed down to me. So I had all these amazing designer pieces that I threw together, and I think, well, I definitely wore that look to my first like dressed up wig stock on the Lower East Side when it was in Tompkins Square Park. And but I don't know if that was from that or if I re-wore it for something else. I can't remember.
Can we see what's on that arm now? Oh my.
There are the eyeballs. Yeah, there's a lot more.
Wow.
Just one or two.
Right. Woo, boy, you know what they say, you never get just one.
That's right. Some people do, but not me. Yeah.
I kind of stopped very early on. You know, I got like a big butterfly on my chest and a couple other big burners on my body. And then I sort of trailed off, you know. Some other weird things. You somebody else that was sort of in our circuit back then was Karen Black, and
of course,
and her incredible stage show.
Yes, I loved Karen Black a lot, and also of course like drag was around at the
somebody just asked that, right?
Once I found my way into the drag scene, then that's when I felt like I really like honed who I was as a performer and my stage persona and my look and all of that stuff. I mean, literally we were in high school when we got this together. So that was a huge influence. And so, Miss Guy from Miss Guy and the Toilet Boys was, my drag mother. He made the eyelashes that I'm wearing in that picture. And I mean, that was like another like brain explosion moment for me.
Yeah, Daniel Ness says Karen Black at CBGB was amazing. It was always quite a spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she was going, Kemba was going off back then. He was going to fuck off.
Cracking eggs.
Yeah. Nobody was doing what she was doing back then.
Nope.
Yeah, it was fearless. She was fearless, stuff that she did. Okay, so the records come out, a couple of records, only available in Europe. Is that right? Were you frustrated with that?
Hard to remember. What the most sort of like frustrating thing was, we recorded this album, we did these photos, it was great, we did it all with Michael, then we had all these like backstage photos and this and that, and we picked our cover, and our backside cover, and then this record comes out with like a whole booklet of pictures, and we were like, this is just because we're women that they're doing this. This is like a marketing thing, and it was like frustrating. I think it was less frustrating.
Was it this record?
Yeah. So that
Yes.
record,
Right.
when it had like an insert that was this, same size photo,
Sure.
book, which now is like so awesome to have, of course.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it felt so gimmicky to us because we, even though we started and we didn't know what we were doing, we honed into a real band. We took it very seriously. Even though we were like funny and fun and, goofy and whatever else, we were serious about our music. And it felt just very like too cheeky or something. And I don't know. It's hard to remember being frustrated that it wasn't here. But then the next album that we made was with a label that was here.
And that was Binge and Purge, right?
That was Binge and Purge. We never met the guy who owned the label. It was like through a manager we had at the time. And the guy at the label did not get us at all, but we made this amazing album cover. Talk about drag. We were very
was that the start of your relationship with Go Kart Records?
So after this album, that's when we ended up meeting with Greg Ross from Go Kart.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that's a relationship that went on for a while, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be was this the next one? I believe this is the next one on Go Kart. Excluding the live one.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was with Go Kart. That was also Michael Levine. Also, to mention, like, me and Gina, who's our amazing guitar player, who's often left out of a lot of like best female guitar players when she's fucking amazing, I have to say. And but we did all our art. So like I think she drew the Lunachicks bone, but we tacked all that together and made the logos and the Bat Woman shirt that is like our classic t-shirt. I drew that in high school. So it was a lot of like DIY to the nth degree. And then when Go Kart took us, then they got their record store on St. Mark's. We used to rehearse in the basement back there. And we were talking recently about, which I had totally forgotten, when we were setting up that basement to rehearse, to be our studio, we had to like bomb it for brooches. Oof. And apparently I wasn't there, I think, or maybe I left or whatever, but they bombed the basement. And then the record store was open, and then all the bugs ran upstairs into the record store, and it was like a total disaster. Oh my God.
It reminds me of when I lived on 72nd Street, and they were renovating the 72nd Street subway. They were putting in a new entrance in, and all of a sudden, I got fucking mice in my apartment. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. I've been living here 10 years and never had a fucking mouse. Next thing I know, there's fucking schools of them in my apartment.
Oh my God.
Because they were building this new sub. It's like they gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
Come on in. So
yeah.
Is that Mark Tulch up in Canada? That's the cover that got me into Lunachicks. Stare at Jerko every time I went rotate this in Toronto. I don't know what that means. He's a big fan.
I love all
Yeah.
these comments, and I'm seeing them, and thank you everybody. And also some of the shows you're talking about, I was also there.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick the most relevant, the most ones that, you know. Is this fair to ask? Can you elaborate on why Kim and Thorsten didn't finish producing your first record?
We had different, it was like an artistic difference where they, you know, because they saw us at such an early show and we were so bad, they thought we were like trying to be a noise band when we really saw ourselves as like we were like the MC5 or, you know, like
Ramones-ish,
or Dolls or Kiss or, you know, something else. And they were like, oh, this is a noise band. So when we got into the studio, they wanted to play with like weird sounds. And, you know, there was a specific moment of a distortion pedal dying while we were recording, and it was making this horrible like lawnmower sound. And they were like, oh yeah, turn it up. And we were like, that is not what we're looking for. And then we were also like, you know, we were like such teenage assholes that like, I think that Kim especially was just like, there was a moment where she called Paul Smith from Blastverse and was like, I am not a babysitter, because we were assholes. And I totally own up to that. And I apologize, Kim, but we did have differences, and that's, you know, we stand by that. What are you going to do?
Hey,
we still made the record.
Who's Scotty Bones sent me a bunch of pictures. You said you recognized them, but they're from 1992 in Frankfurt, Germany. Seems like you guys got out there pretty. Oops. You guys went overseas pretty early on. Is that right?
Yep, we sure did.
What was that like going over there? All girl band? Was it difficult?
I mean, the first time it was like we were one of the sort of first of that time to get over there, I think, as far as I know. And there was a big splash, and we got all this press through Blast First. And it was really, really exciting and fun and amazing. And we went over with our very first tour there was with Dinosaur Jr.
Oh, there you go.
And we didn't really know them at all. Somehow it was just, I don't know if they were also on Blast First. It's possible they were, or that booking agent. This show that you're showing right now was really funny because me and Sid, I had like, it's in black and white, you can't see, but I drew like this, my wig was pink, and I drew a pink, like Dr. Seuss unibrow on.
I have a color one. Boom.
Yeah, so you can see the and we did like some opposite funny shit. But anyway, we would like put on this makeup to sort of kill time and to crack each other up, and then it would just add to the show. But so the very first show we played with Dinosaur Jr., we get on stage. I think it was at maybe the Mean Fiddler in London. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. And suddenly pint glasses were being thrown from the back of the room. Ooh. So it's like, you know, it was one of those like, oh my God, we're in England. This is so exciting. We're playing a show. And then it's like, you know, and it was like, okay. So there was a lot of like, you know, we really had to, in some ways, sort of fight tooth and nail to continue to just play a fucking show, to, you know, stay on stage, to keep going, keep fighting. It was almost like this, like, you know, I don't even know. We were on a mission. It was like a mission.
Yeah. Was everybody on board with that mission?
Yeah. I mean, until they weren't, you know, if they weren't.
Yeah. Great man.
What's that?
Gray Menace says, saw the band in Frankfurt, Germany. I think that's great. That's what these pictures are from. They're from Frankfurt, Germany. The gig was at the Negative. That's this show. Actually, they invited the girls in the audience to throw their used tampons on stage. That was fun.
I don't remember that. That sounds gross, but okay.
Hey.
Used, no thank you. Free tampons, I'll take them.
We don't want the unused ones, but feel free to throw the used.
No, we want the unused. Gross.
Keep your used ones, but Listen, we're on the road. We're on the road. We'll take the unused.
Yes.
Here's the last color shot.
We had a lot of funny things thrown up on stage, though. People would throw like girls
There you
with
go.
their bras. We'd get underwear. We'd get like sex toys. We'd get candy. People will, like to shower us with various things. Yeah, that was that show too, huh?
And now that's Cindy in the middle playing guitar, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My memory of Cindy in those days, Nunzio, who played guitar in Antidote, Cindy always had candy. She always gave us candy. We always she always hooked us up. Like, you want candy? We're like, yeah. So, oh shit, there's Cindy. You got any candy?
Cindy always had candy, and Cindy was like a candy connoisseur. And when that was also one of the fun things about touring overseas was like going into finding all the candy that we could and all the different places. And we always had tons of it in the van to munch on.
That's funny that I would have that memory about her.
Yes,
right?
that's perfect.
I would have the candy memory. And then once she knew that we were like, we were on the candy wavelength, it was like,
oh yeah. No, Cindy was like, because she was a little older than us, and like she had her own apartment when we were in high school, and we used to go over to her house after school, and she would like make us snacks, and particularly pierogies, and we would hang out and eat candy, and it was like she was like the mama bear to us.
And she left the band after this, correct?
She did. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way. Was it okay? Was it time to move on? Did she have enough? Was it time to just make a change?
We were seeing things. I mean, also we have our book, so you can, hear all these details in our book, which is called Fallopian Rhapsody, the story of Lunachicks, written with Gene Fury. But we were seeing things differently. And I think like she was unhappy. We were unhappy. It was time. I think it was just time at this point. And
when she left, you went on as a 4-piece. This is the record that Mike from NoFX sort of had somewhat of a hand in, correct?
Yes, he was producing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about that process?
Well, it was exciting that he wanted to do it, and he really gave us his time and his expertise, and it, being a bunch of people, we're very opinionated. We're all like, fairly type A. And so letting somebody sort of take the reins to a certain extent was kind of new for us, and also was difficult. And, but I was kind of like, well, this guy knows how to sell records. So let's let's give it a chance. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then it became difficult in the studio because he wanted things to be sort of in his way. And it was sort of like, well, if we're doing this with him, we should listen to him. But then, we all were like, no, that's not really us. That's not how we, so there were definitely some artistic differences there, but he's an awesome guy, and I appreciate him. And he, him and Fletcher made the Punk Rock Museum. So he's definitely, a cheerleader for all that is punk rock.
That's a tough position to sort of be in when you bring someone in as a producer based on sort of what that person's done. So what you're kind of doing is you're bringing them in to sort of take their template and try to, put you into their template. And yet sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't think so.
It's square pegs, it's like we didn't fit what he wanted me to sing more like a little girl.
Right.
And that's not my style, and so there were just like things like that. I think that he has a formula that works, but it just wasn't us. So
it certainly works for them.
Yes, it does.
And I think there's a little bit of a tie-in between sort of him and this and that, and you guys. You were on the Warped Tour basically for 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this is the second year that you were on.
Yeah.
But what an incredible lineup.
I mean, yeah, that was all the like fighting tooth and nail aside. We got to play with so many amazing bands. We really felt accepted and like loved, and like peers with all these bands that we loved, and bands that I went to hardcore matinees for, or that I was like scared of. Honestly, when I was like a little 14-year-old sitting outside with a 40 ounce, I was like, ah! But outside of CBGBs is what I meant. But but then sort of being really like, it's beautiful, and being there and being able to play on the main stage and amidst all these incredible bands was like fucking awesome.
There's always on any of those Warped Tour, there's always like a couple of like sleepers that you're like, oh shit, like TSOL, fuck yeah, oh, you get to see Jack Grisham perform every day. Oh, that's great. I like that guy.
They're so cool.
Yeah, I like them a lot. But that must have been a great experience traveling around with that circus. And also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it was very much a circus. I mean, that whole experience of just doing those kinds of festivals where you have to like drive all night, and then you wake up and you're like in the back of the whatever in a dirt field, or in like next to 17 porta potties or whatever the fuck it is.
Did you have, I mean, I guess in order to do it, you had support. The label was supporting you. You were doing it. You were out there. Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You were selling T-shirts.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
That's it. It was all cross collateralized.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Let me take a break, a sponsor break, and halftime, and we'll come back with Women of the Pit, and we'll talk to Lori Dawn and Gina a little bit, and we'll continue on in our journey. So you got a couple of minutes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That's right. This is the one, the only New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Theo from Lunachicks. Lots to get into. In the meantime, a word from our sponsors.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in a new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
Video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars! We are New York Hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
I'm back. Back in the New York Hardcore Chronicles live groove. What's happening? And we're back. Hey, want to mention a couple things that are coming up. Did you know, as we speak, Rebelmatic is out on tour. Tonight they're in Chicago. Tomorrow they're in Detroit. The 9th they're in Morgantown, West Virginia. Then Cleveland, Washington, Pittsburgh. Go see Rebelmatic. They are a great band. There's an event this Thursday at Generation Records. Scarhead will be playing a live in-store, followed by a meet and greet. They have a new release coming out. Black and Blue Bowl is coming up. Is that the 12th? That's this weekend. This weekend is the Black and Blue Bowl, Friday and Saturday. Sunday, May 21st, back in the Bowery Electric. Free all ages, 7 bands, 2 stages. Yes, brought to you by Hegs. And the New York Hardcore Chronicles, it is Rampage Fest 5 with Reaching Out, Cropsey, Extinguish the Code, Pink Mist, Sewage, Raid, and Disguised. Back in our beloved Tompkins Square Park on Saturday, May 27th. If it's free, it's for me. Leeway, Rebelmatic, Butterbrain, Winterwolf, Scott Helen, Guitar Me of One. Listen, let me tell you something about this show. The night before the show, I will be in Milwaukee at the Metal Fest. I have to get on a 6 a.m. flight to get back to New York. I should be walking into Tompkins Square to park into Tompkins Square Park at about noon. So don't fuck it up. I will be there. I'll be there if you. I'll be there if you be. I'll be there so you be there. Hey, this is it. This is old news already. Biohazard Matinee. I think there's still a couple tickets on sale. This is the big banger. Sunday, June 25th, we're doing a High and the Mighty set, High and the Mighty reunion show with One Life All In, Don Foos, Revenge Beast with Mark Rizzo, Concrete Ties, and India Vid. We're gonna have some special guests come up and play with us. I'm not gonna mention who they are yet, but I think we're gonna do some Kiss songs or some shit. I want to do Calling Dr. Love. They call me Dr. Love. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this one. Another one at the Bowery Electric, Dog Eat Dog, Kings Never Die, Dead Crew, Incendiary Device. It's gonna jump off tonight. Serial Poets, Kings Never Die, Sunday, July 30th, and last but not least, Sunday, August 13th, The Take, Silence Equals Death, Star Car featuring Sab Gray from Iron Cross, Ma'afa, Mr. Pickle, first show in 10 years at the Bowery Electric. That said, please support the show. Support the show that supports you. Don't be a Patreon, join Patreon. There it is. The show needs your support. What can I tell you? A lot of people support the show. I'm grateful that a lot of people support this show, and I appreciate it. What a man, I'm a blessed motherfucker. I'm a blessed motherfucker. I want to shout out my new patrons, Tim Shear, Eddie Medina, Oakland represent, Dr. Wolfbergen, and D. Kafazov. Also want to shout out Thomas Fritz. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting me in my artistic endeavors. I will not let you down. You know? Yeah, Don Foos. Oh, yeah, that reminds me, Victoria. Hey, listen, thanks for reminding me. And I got you covered. But this weekend, my new film, The Jews and the Blues, is screening at the Rockland County Film Festival. Is it the Rockland County International Jewish Film Festival? It could be. It's in West Nyack. I will be doing a Q&A after the screening. If you are up in that area, please come by. I'm coming up. So you better get the screening started. What is this? That's Tuesday, day after tomorrow. Jews in the Blues screening up in Rockland. So please come through. If you need the link and can't find it, just reach out to me. I'm easily accessible on social media. I'm not hard to find. My girlfriend thinks I just dick around on social media all day. I'm like, yo, this is kind of like my job. I'm not just Not just watching videos of like, it's true. All right. You want to know the truth? I just dick around on social media all day. That's all I do. No, it's not true. Not true. That said, what else? Yes, we're going to see you at the JCC on Tuesday. I'll see you at the JCC. Live from the JCC. That said, there's the PayPal address. I post early. Everybody knows this. I sleep from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Anytime I have to be up past 10 p.m., it's like an utter nightmare at this point for me. My body starts shutting down. So I got to go to GBH tonight, and like come 10 o'clock, I start, falling apart. What can I tell you? That said, everything's good. Let's bring on from Women of the Pit, Lori Dawn. What's up?
Hello. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Good. I'm hoping that Gina's going to be able to phone in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sent me. You guys just had an event yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was incredible. We so this was the show that we talked about on Wednesday. We had this thing, Yep, there it is.
Tell us about
we
it.
went there last night. We were in Wilmington. Hey, Rich. We were in Wilmington for this show at Shred City Music, and it was just an incredible night. Hey, Eddie. 8 bands featuring women in them, and
Slamwich
ferocious.
Is Slamwich an all gals band?
Nope. Mix. All the bands were mixed.
Okay.
So, but just a brutal night of hardcore. They had it in this like small little music store. So like on one side there was like guitars hanging on the wall, and
that's always a good idea to have a hardcore show in like a music store.
It was insane. I don't know. And I gotta say the owner was like so mellow, too. I was like, having a heart attack. But these kids were really going at it, and nothing got broke. I mean, maybe bones, maybe some kids got broke, but nothing on the wall got broke.
Yeah. Ray Hogan says, congratulations on the strong reviews.
Yes. Yeah. So the reviews are coming in for our Strong Together CD. So we're really happy about that. Really happy to see the bands getting some recognition, some love. So
good.
But it's been really great. But yeah, it was a great show. Concrete Ties, Spit, Fish Face. Those were some standout bands for me. Definitely hoping to get
Concrete Ties is hard.
Yeah. Definitely hoping that they'll come down to New York. Some of those bands really good. Really good. Concrete Ties played some new music.
They're playing with Concrete Ties, right? They're on this show.
Yeah.
With the High and the Mighty, yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. But it was just a really cool night, just, a lot of, it was all young kids, and just really makes you feel like, the women, their time has come, all the genders that have been, underrepresented in hardcore, they're really coming out and making it their space. And it's awesome to see.
There's an evolution to this thing,
Absolutely.
the wave goes in and the wave goes out. And that's one of the exciting and interesting things about not just this genre, but music in general. It's ever changing and if it's not interesting for you for a little while, come back in a little bit because the merry-go-round goes round and round,
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying it. And, I'm loving this show too, because it's just such it's just a cool thing to see, like Theo was, like a trailblazer, right? I mean, they were, they set the stage for so many women who came in their wake, and, and still today, I look to people like that and I say, yeah, she's still badass. She's still cool, and it kind of, it's very inspiring,
Let's bring her on and embarrass her. Hi.
Yes.
Hey.
Blue eye makeup. I'm like, I'm gonna try that. you know? I looked it up, and like the two of us were the same age, you know? And, you know, it's just very cool just to see, you know, like sometimes when I go to shows, I'm like, wow, I could have given birth to everybody in this room.
Yes.
And you feel like the weird old lady in the show. You know, and you know, I was somewhere the other night where literally I could have given birth to everybody in that room, like legit, you know. And
but we don't look like it, so that you know.
Exactly. I was like, all right, just calm down.
I can't say that.
You can't give birth either, Drew.
Yeah, I can't say
like,
I could.
but, calm down, because like you might be like way older, but you're also way wiser. You know.
True.
So I got the best of both worlds. I'm so cool, but I'm wise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, let's Theo, let's take a sidebar here. When did I know you started a cosmetic line at a certain point. Were you still doing the music thing? At what point? What inspired you to do that? What was the impetus for that?
I was doing Theo and the Skyscrapers, and I just had one of my, like, you know, I've never had a real job. I've never had like a 9-to-5. I've always sort of like done cool stuff and things that I wanted to do. And so I was like, I want to start a lip gloss line. And so I called a friend in LA and I figured it out. And then I was doing that, and I did it for about 9 years, maybe a little longer from like the fruition, but it was sort of like this passion project that then became a thing. I got like in a lot of stores, a lot of online stores. I got a lot of great press, all this stuff. It was called Armor Beauty. Mm-hmm. And it was at the very beginning of like the natural beauty craze. And I know, Drew, this probably isn't your thing at all, but you know,
I do know that they were vegan, right?
Some of them were
paraben free, gluten free, and no animal testing were involved.
Yes, exactly. And so it was, and it was also like super high pigment, so you would get a lot of color no matter what your skin tone. That was really, really important to me, to be able to show up on very light skin and very dark skin, long lasting, not drying out your lips like so many products do or did. And I started with 14 colors, and it ended up being 30. And by the time I was finished, I wasn't, you know, I still had product. I was not, I took out a loan to start it. Everything was paid off. And I was like, I'm just going to donate what I have left because it's time to end. And I donated to all these LGBTQ shelters, and one in LA, some of them here, and you know, sort of left on a really good positive note of like, I did what I could. I was exhausted by it, and it was time to move on. And in the middle of all that, I was like, I should be a makeup artist if I have a makeup line, which is also very me to like start backwards from most people, you know, where like makeup artists often start lines after they've been a makeup artist for a long time. So I learned to do makeup, and now I am a professional makeup artist, and I'm with a really cool agency called Art Department. And like, I'm kind of kicking ass, I have to say, again, you know, on the seat of my pants. So
do the makeup stuff you do, are you out on feature film sets, commercials, or just all the above?
I am not doing feature film very much. Oh, my Instagram is wrong. It says THRO Kogan. I've been doing some TV. I've done plenty of commercials. I do fashion. I do some celebrities. I do like Bridget Everett, who's got a really cool show on HBO, and who's also from like back in the day when there was a party called Squeeze Box that a lot of people used to go to.
Don Hills.
Yeah, Don Hills. It was like that was my Cheers, where I'd walk in and it was like, I felt like I was Norm. It was like, Norm! I was like, yeah! So I finished that, and no, I can't remember what I was talking about.
But you enjoy doing it.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's where I started so also to like backtrack and also full circle. When after I graduated high school, I went to art school for 2 years. In the second year, I was supposed to do a special effects makeup workshop with Tom Savini, who had done all these horror movies. I was really into horror movies, into gore, into all that stuff.
He's a bit of a legend, that guy.
Yes. So I had this workshop coming. We were going to like build a head. We were going to explode it. We were going to do I was so excited. And then he got a film and had to cancel it. And literally I was devastated. So then I started to learn to do that stuff on my own. And there's even in the booklet of our first album, there's before I had tattoos, I made this like gash, with like latex and fake blood and stuff. So I was beginning to sort of use that creativity. So now I've sort of it's like a full circle. So I just feel like I'm an artist and it's going to come out in whatever way at whatever time,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he had a school, right? Rick says, my friend Ben went to Savini's school in PA.
This was I was at that's really cool. I'm jealous. This was at I was at SVA for those 2 years, and so it was like a special SVA sort of side workshop in the summertime. So yeah, it was like
Michael Roos says, whoever's doing Drew's makeup before the show is really good. I do my own makeup, thank you. Do my own makeup. Lori, anything else? You got anything else? Anything for Theo or?
Oh no, I just think I just think it's really great that this band formed from kids from an art school, because like that art comes out in so many different facets and not just the music, in the stage presence, the things that you wear, the things your album covers and everything. It's just really cool. Yeah, all the talent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Couldn't help it. Like, couldn't be another way. It was impossible.
It must have been incredible to go to. I mean, you went to an art high school. It was, whereas most public high schools, like art is a second thought.
Yeah. I was so grateful. I don't know. I honestly don't know what would have happened if I hadn't been there.
There's a lot of CBGB's photos of you guys. Any recollections of CBGB's? You played there a lot, didn't you?
Yeah. We played there a lot. It was great. I loved it. It was so itself. It's like disgusting, dirty. There was like graffiti in the bathrooms I did when I was like 13 that was still there by the time we were playing in there. And then like at some point finding, going into this whole other part of the basement that I'd never seen before, to like shoot an interview with somebody and be like, what, this was here? What? I feel like, and then, now it's a store. And the first time I walked into that store, I had like the most like visceral, like breakdown where I was just like, oh my God, I was standing in the spot where the stage was. And I was like, I have to get out of here. This is too much. It was like painful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a weird thing. I sort of was weirded out by it at first. And then I was talking to Cheetah Chrome from Their Boys. And I said, man, shit. He said, it could be a lot worse. It could be it could be a bank. He said it could be a fucking Bank of America. At least they're doing something to continue I forgot the exact, vernacular, but at least they're recognizing the history and the lineage. And I said,
I agree.
So after that, it sort of changed my perception of it a little bit.
I agree. And I love seeing the little bits of it that are still there. When they were opening, somebody who was helping with the store, like wrote to me and wanted like posters and stuff and didn't want to pay anything. And I was mad. Don't hold a grudge.
Well, no, it's like, hey, we're selling leather jackets for, $3,500, but can we have your shit for free?
Yeah, that's like never going to be made again, and you have only 2 of them, or maybe 1.
RS70 asks, do you think the location can be taken back? I don't think it should. I really don't think it should. The neighborhood has changed so much around there. It's just, the past is dead. Long live the past. I don't think it makes any sense. That neighborhood is radically different now.
Yeah, it would feel like I don't know, like Vegas or something, like something not real, like I don't know.
But we do these Bowery Electric shows in Jesse's place, a block away, and we do free all ages Sunday matinees there.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
yeah, and a lot of young people come, and it's really great. It's really great. It's not like I got to say that when we used to do this, you remember when the CB's matinees, you'd go down there on a Sunday early afternoon, and it was like Walking Dead. There was just nothing going on down there. Nothing. It's a little different now.
Yeah. A little more hustle and bustle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And that hotel is right next to it.
Yeah.
What is it? And we were doing a hardcore matinee like a couple months ago, and I was standing in front, and I saw come right out. I said, "Oh fuck, Robert Plant." Right? Came right out and walked through the crowd of all my subhuman, mutant, cyborg, Neanderthal friends.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great moment.
Wow.
So there you go. All right, Lori. Well, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, and it was an honor to meet you.
You too.
Yes, thank you
We'll
for all
talk
the
to you soon.
inspiration. Bye.
Thank you for
Bye-bye,
killing it.
Lori Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. That said, so the band winds down in 2001. Never officially, you didn't say we're done. That's it. What was sort of how did that hand play out?
Well, we were exhausted. We were in a good place, but we weren't like in the place we wanted. I think we were starting to feel like, some of us wanted to do different kinds of music, to explore different things. And, we toured pretty consistently for, like 11 or 12 years. And we were now like 30, and we were like, wow, we're still sleeping in the same bed. We're like 3 in a bed in an RV. We're like, this is not so cute anymore,
Yeah.
But we were also like, we don't want to say we're broken up because I don't know, like growing up in the amount of like reunion that we had, which many I was grateful for, like I saw Dead Boys reunion. I saw all kinds of things that were amazing, but then like
I saw that Heartbreakers one. That was fucking great.
the heart, yes. So and there were, but for whatever reason, we wanted to leave it open so that if we came back, we just came back. So it took a really long time, and we played that show that you opened the show with. That was from the show. Was it 2003 or?
I think it was. I think it was. It was labeled as 2002, but
okay.
But it could be. But yeah, they seemed a little confused. But
hard to say.
Yeah.
But so we all of our new bands played, and then we did like that mini set at the end all together, and that was really fun. And then we also played, I think in 2004 or 3, we played a big pro-choice show with Joan Jett in DC before a big march, which here we are doing this all again.
Yeah, I see 2002, 2004, and then 2019.
Yeah, 2020. Then we were like, we're supposed to play in 2020. Then we all know what happened.
That was the Webster Hall. I remember it being announced. People were very excited. I think one show was announced, and then it was turned into 2 shows, and then this pandemic thing really hit hard, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when things shut down, and I was like, oh, it'll be fine in a month. Our show won't get canceled, will it? No. Yeah. Then we rebooked like probably twice, and then finally played in fall of 2021, and also did Punk Rock Bowling, which we had also had booked for 2020 and 2021.
And was it? I mean, it must have been. a bit odd to have this hanging over your head through the whole damn pandemic. Like, well, someday when it gets sorted out, we're gonna get to play.
Yeah.
Fucking drag that is.
It was crazy. And also we were already rehearsing for like, you know, none of us were really up to speed on playing. Right. And certainly not playing as, you know, hard and fast as we play. So we were like really getting our shit together for months, you know, also because we work ourselves harder than anyone because we're like, you know, we have to be better than what people think in our minds. So, yeah, so we were, you know, then it was like, okay, now everything stops again. And then we had to like go through getting our shit together all over again. So whatever. I mean, it was easier the next time.
What's going on here? It's like it looks like you just sort of what is it like those goats that fall asleep? Like you just sort of like you just feel like you just
Apparently that show was where my new most punk move came, which I did again at Riot Fest, and it like the end of Riot Fest, the sort of wrap up, it was the top of the page of me laying down on the stage, but I was like face up that time. And that time at Riot Fest, it was 9,000 degrees and I was wearing, you know, all polyester. So I was just dying. And this one also was, I think it was toward the end of this set, and it's, I don't know. I get full of emotion and I have to lay down. What can I say?
This is actually, someone just sent me a really nice picture. Hold on. This is really Mark Tulch up in Canada. Huge fan of the band. Just sent me this great picture of him and his daughter at the reunion in front of Webster Hall at the reunion show. Look at that.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that came with their kids. There were like whole families that came.
That's cool.
Stuff. So
that's nice.
So cool. Those
there
shows
he is.
Amazing.
Saw both shows at Webster Hall.
That's great. Was so fun. It was those, you know, waiting all that time and then all the hard work and everything else and all the fans, people flying in from all over. It was so amazing and like life affirming for us, you know, really.
And also, and I could say from somewhat experience, that stage is special in New York.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just walking into soundcheck, I was like, I've seen so many of my favorite bands that, you know, influenced me, like, you know, like unbelievable bands. And now I sold it out 2 nights in a row. We sold it out. Like, what?
There's not a lot of places, because we talked about CBGB's gone. You know, there's not a lot of places left that, you know, have that weight, you know, from, you know, back when we were doing it in the 90s or whatever. There's not a lot left. And Webster Hall, that stage, that room, you know, still it's heavy, you know?
Yeah, it is. And I also like later on when, on my like day job, night jobs, I was like in the early 90s, I was like babysitting, and then I would go at like a lot of gay and mixed clubs. And so I go danced at Webster Hall for a chunk of time there too. And so it was like, and also down in the basement, there was a party I used to be a part of. And then it's incredible.
Yeah. Rich, how was punk rock bowling? Here, I got a good shot. Come on.
That was so much fun also. And it was one of those like, that's actually Riot Fest.
I'm sorry. That's right.
That was
that's why it says Riot Fest on it.
Riot Fest was really cool. And Punk Rock Bowling was too. They were, you know, both big festivals, very different. Like Punk Rock Bowling is just so punk and, you know, felt very at home, and so many friends there involved and so many bands and all that. And Fest was bigger.
This is Riot Fest?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you perform at something like Riot Fest, I assume you need a little bit of a support staff with makeup and hair and
we do all that ourselves. We do all that. I mean, I do all that myself. We all were getting our stuff made by our friend David Dalrymple, who made those early, you know, things that I was talking about. but there's a lot of planning that goes into all of that, including
Yeah.
hair and makeup, of course. It's so fun. I mean, it's like,
I mean, that's fun. That's
yeah, I build myself as a big angry Barbie doll since day one, honestly, you know.
Aw. Our friend Alan Roberts says, lots of respect from Life of Agony. We shared the stage at L'Amour's back in the day.
Oh my God.
You mentioned L'Amour's. We spoke earlier, and you even mentioned Carnivore. Any L'Amour's memories or?
Oh, so many L'Amour's memories. Dizzy, the waitress who had the little bear with like the bondage stuff on. There was I mean, I saw the Ramones there. I saw Slayer there. I saw Motorhead there. I played there. I had like boyfriends' bands playing there. I would also like walk home from there, even though I lived very far away.
That neighborhood was sketchy.
Yes, it was. One time it was, God, we were probably like 16, and I was wearing, so this old boyfriend's friend, his father ran the Kiss warehouse. So he would take like Kiss clothes out of there. So I was wearing a pair of Paul Stanley's spandex that were leopard skin, and it was a Ramones show. And for whatever reason, we were drinking a lot of, there were certain things that like I did dumb stuff when I was a teenager and then I never could drink them again. This was like Jack Daniels. So I drank like a fifth of Jack Daniels. Disgusting. Was so trashed. We tried to go in. I think Sid like fell up the stairs, Squid.
Fell up the stairs.
So sober up. And so we went back outside. We finished the bottle and then went in. So that's not a proud memory, but a memory. What else? Oh yeah. So I saw Carnivore there. I don't remember how many times, but so Mark from Carnivore, who we called Harry Mark. Anybody?
Mark Pivanetti, aka Harry Mark.
Yeah. So and he was also in the Crumbsuckers.
He was one of those guys that was so hairy. He had like hair on the palm of his hands.
So hairy. And so he was in love with one of my friends. And so whatever, we would sometimes hang out. She didn't date him, but whatever. That's sort of besides the point, but I had to mention it. And saw Carnivore there, and Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard it might have been one of Biohazard's first shows, perhaps, but Evan was roadieing for Carnivore at that show. Yeah. There's also a memory, speaking of also circle back to like Natalie and Jimmy Gestapo, who, I mean, Jimmy's like my brother. I love Jimmy so much. But back then, when
I have a visual. Hold on. You know, just the fact that ties in the Jimmy thing. Because I like to get all this stuff up during the show. But this is, I think, in the early 90s. This is at the Palladium, Agnostic from Murphy's Law, Lunachicks. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. So yep. I think that's the one where we dressed as like bald old men, I think. So like lounge singer guys. We have pictures. Right. There are pictures in the book if you get the book, people.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is it. This is it, Paul, right here. First time I saw Lunachicks was June of '92 at the Palladium, the AF Riot show. This is it right here.
That's it.
Yeah. Go on. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so before that, and then maybe before it must have been before we were a band, or maybe we were just starting to play. But I was watching, I think it was a Motorhead show. It was either Motorhead or Slayer, but I think it was Motorhead. And I was standing in the back-ish area of L'Amour's, and Jimmy and Natalie were behind me, and Natalie sat there with a lighter just going flick, flick, like right near my hair. And I was like, ah! And then, you know, I was trying to be cool and not like act scared. So I was like, just like stood there for a while and then finally got away. But I was like, she fucking hates me. But that was like, you know, this is like another thing, like you start a band and then you're cool.
Isn't that why most people go? Isn't that why we all start bands?
But I mean, it's like I was scared of her and I knew who Jimmy was, but I didn't know him yet. And like now it's like Jimmy's just like my mushy brother. Like I love him so much, you know? So
here's another great one. Murphy's Law, Lunachicks Mad Parade at the Grand, formerly the Cat Club.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Remember that room, man. I saw some great bands in that room.
That was a great room. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw like, when I think of that room, I think of like Circus of Power and like, I saw the Black Crowes the first time they played New York. It was like half empty. I saw Carnivore in that room, and I've told this story on the show. They threw out all these like animal body parts into the audience, and like all this stuff. It was so disgusting. It was Carnivore.
We played there when it was still the Cat Club. We played there with Dee Ramone when he was like rapping. That was amazing.
Here's you guys. I think this is the same thing. This is Murphy's Law, Lunachicks. Yeah, it's the same show. Yeah, at the Grand. Yes, Todd Hamilton from Warzone. The Cat Club Grand was a dope room. It was good.
Yeah,
it was a good sounding room. Good shit. Dee King. King. Nothing like Dee rapping.
Yeah, and Blitzbeer would play there. I feel like we played with Blitzbeer. Maybe they played on that show too with Dee.
I saw Junkyard there with Circus. That was a great show. Junkyard and Circus of Power. It was good. Yeah. I love those. You mentioned Raging Slab before. They were great.
Yeah, they were so great.
Elise, yeah, they were great.
Yes, we used to see them all the time and hang out. And
there was that whole sort of circuit. It was like Raging Slab, Circus of Power, Smash Gladdies, the Throbs,
Blitzbeer.
Blitzbeer, right?
For sure. Yeah.
All in that circuit. Theo and the Skyscrapers. A little bit, and I quote, a crossbreed of new wave and metal, and Sean, your husband, I don't know if he was your husband at the time, when you formed it, was in the band as well.
Yeah. So first, when Lunachicks stopped playing, I wasn't ready to have a band, so I kind of made this album with Sean, but then was like, I want to just do it to a track and have dancers. So I had my friends Viva Ruiz and Jaiko Suzuki dance with me, and Viva is amazing, and she started Thank God for Abortion, which if some of you don't know that, you should find out about it because it's amazing. And she is just a fucking amazing person. But they were my dancers, and so it was sort of during the electro clash kind of thing, and so I was playing in clubs. My first show was actually at that space when it was called Plaid, was at the Cat Club space at the Grand. It was called Plaid for a while.
Wow.
And so I had my first solo show there with them. And then after a little while, it was like, okay, it's time to have a band. So then Sean was writing with me, guitar player. And then we had a couple of different versions of the Skyscrapers. So first it was just Theo, and then it became Theo and the Skyscrapers because Sean is so tall. That was the whole point.
Oh, I get it.
And then we had all other members that had to be close to as tall as him. It was a requirement.
And Sean, as I know now, is 6'7".
Yeah, pretty like 6'6", 6'7". Yeah.
And you had to find people that big. That must have been.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't that hard. Shocking.
No.
Yeah.
Pete Steele was 6'9", I think.
Oh my God, I'm sure. He
used to play that stand-up bass, around his neck. When we did the Black #1 video, he was playing that stand-up bass around his neck. Let's talk about this, and then we'll take a quick break after, and we'll take some questions from around the world. But are you happy with this, the way that this turned out? Give us some perspective on it, please.
What, our book?
Yeah.
Our book was such a labor of love. It started me and Jean Fury, who wrote it with us. It would not have happened without her. And I had started writing my own memoir with her like 13 or 14 years ago. And then I got pregnant, and then that all fell to shit once I was, new mom and all this stuff. So after a certain point, I was like, why don't we do a Lunachicks book first? We started all this stuff. So we started doing that, and it took a while, but it was really, really fun and beautiful to celebrate our, history and friendship and legacy and all these things. And then when the pandemic hit, we were supposed to turn it in June 2020. So in some, way that was sort of the best part of the pandemic for that point in time was us being able to spend time Zooming twice a week, writing on our own, and then going through all these photos. And at first, the publisher wasn't going to let us have photos. And we were like, we're so visual. We really need photos. We really want to put photos in there. We want to put our art in there. And they're like, no, 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 no. And then when it was finally done, they sort of surprised us saying, guess what? You get to have pictures. And we're like, oh! And then they were like, we're not going to have them in color though. And then when the book actually came out, there are color photos inside, and we were so happy.
Good.
So yeah, I think it was a labor of love, and it's nice to have our story out there in the world, because, we're not the biggest band in the world. We certainly know that. And we know we're, niche, and we're underground, and we're DIY, and to have our story out there, in Barnes and Noble is pretty fucking cool.
Of course, and in a situation like this, it's nice to control the narrative a little bit. And It's not just somebody's doing a book and we have nothing to do with it and we have no input, it's nice to, somewhat control the narrative. And yeah, listen, you've arrived. The book is in Barnes and Noble in Florida.
Yeah.
Everything else comes in a distant second. Let me take a quick sponsor break, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. That's right. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Theo Kogan from Lunachicks. Get your questions ready. Don't post anything stupid, please. Help me help you. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, and Upstate Records. They're a New York-based DIY independent metal and hardcore label. Founded in 2017, they broke into the scene with their inaugural 26-band compilation in 2018, and since then have churned out over 80 releases in their brief 5-year history. In 2023, look for new releases by Mark Rizzo's new band Revenge Beast, Carl from Earth Crisis' Fryer, Fury of Five, Angry Corpses, and a few more surprises that are in the works. Check them out at www.upstaterecordsnewyork.com and use the code STONE10. STONE10. You fool. For 10% off. Come on now, last but not least. Devin, our pal in Fargo, North Dakota. DTFM Vinyl Distro. Looking for extreme music? DTFM Vinyl has got you. Located in 13th Ave, in the jewel of North Dakota, Fargo, we have the state's best selection of punk, hardcore, metal, ska, oi, and more. Can't make it in? Shop online from anywhere in the country at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com. DTFM Vinyl, where the policy still is and always will be death to false metal. I want to mention upcoming shows. 1 week from today. Hey. It's 1 week from today. Sunday, May 14th, Wino from the Obsessed and St. Vitus will be on the show. This will be great, I guarantee. Wednesday, May 17th, the return of Steve Birnbaum. Love this guy. Love his Instagram page. The band was here. Man, I'm looking forward to this guy coming back on. Sunday, May 28th, speaking of Revenge Beast and Mark Rizzo, he will be coming on to speak about their new release. Sunday, June 4th, Tim Shaw from Ensign and Fuck It, I Quit. Sunday, June 11th, yes, Chris Jericho, wrestler, musician, new comic coming out, will be on the show. The Forbidden with Chris Contos now playing drums, Wednesday, June 21st. And don't you know, who is more stoked about this show than my girlfriend, Rochelle? Jetan Damone will be on the show. Yep. And this will be co-hosted by Joel Ghostin. Also, I'm going to do a my birthday comes out on a Wednesday, so we're gonna do a show. I don't want to make it like a birthday thing, but we're gonna march a couple of people through the show on my birthday, including my dad, maybe some of the Biohazard guys. Look, it's no secret, I'm gonna be out in Milwaukee. The Biohazard thing is happening. I hope to see you out in Milwaukee if you're out that way. What else? If you're up in Rockland and in that area, on Tuesday, we're screening my new film. All are welcome. What else? If there's a super chat function, if you want to contribute to the show, do a super chat for a couple bucks. It comes through in color. I can't miss it. You come to the front of the line. If you're watching the show in a rerun on YouTube, there is a subscribe button right there. Please subscribe to the show. Also, if you have a communication device, please follow the show on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. Help me help you. There you go. Let's clear it out. Let's bring our guests back on. Hi, Theo.
Hello.
All right. Let's get to it. Let me see. Let's see. This is a good one. Okay. Darren asks, who came up with the name Lunachicks, and does the band's name have a meaning?
Well, it's a play on words. So like lunatics, lunachicks, right? Cindy came up with it, and it was one of those, like, Cindy was always really great with like a zinger. So she would just like say something punny or a zinger. And she said one day, we're just a bunch of raving lunachicks. And we were all like, like, what? So for a minute we were raving lunachicks, but that was so long.
Yeah.
It's, when you're drawing logos for your band, it's like, make it short. So we took off raving and we became Lunachicks.
Makes sense. Gray Menace asks, is there a chance the out-of-print records are going to be repressed?
We are actually working on some vinyl. There will be vinyl, people. I'm not sure what's going to be first. There is going to be some repressing. There'll probably be some colors. It'll be generation. I know that is going to happen.
That's exciting.
Yes. So keep your eyes on our Instagram for that announcement.
Good. Eddie Medina says best name. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Hello, Billy said. Billy Whitfield. Hello from Baltimore. Can't wait for the doc movie to come out.
Oh yeah. Hi, Billy. How are you?
Is there a doc movie that's happening?
There's a doc movie that has also been in the works for quite a while. Don't know when it's going to come out, but it is nearing completion, and we will also have more info on that as soon as we know.
Good.
Yeah.
Ray Hogan asks, who designed the logo?
Which one?
Are you talking about this one, Ray? This one, perhaps? That
one is obviously a play on the plasmatics. And,
right. Yeah.
I think that Gina made that with the plasmatics, as the full inspiration, or certainly not trying to pretend.
Yeah, that's the one he's asking about.
Yeah, that was Gina who made that. But we, the Luxury Problem album, the front felt like, the cover felt like we shot like ourselves all like dolled up, but in like a junkyard. So it felt very sort of, an ode to plasmatics with the amount of stuff that they did with like junkyards and, smashing, blowing up TVs and everything.
Excuse me, go ahead.
No, I said big fan.
We had Richie Stotts on the show a while back, and from the Plasmatics, and he was great. He and yeah, I'm sure you remember when we were doing the circuit in the 90s, he was around all the time, with his King Flux and all that. And, he was sort of out of the circuit for a while. And we brought him on the show, and he was just so thrilled. And people loved that guy. It was great. It was a nice moment,
He's so cool. And he sort of another on the legacy of Luna. Like, he produced a single for us back like in the early 90s.
Is that right?
And Lenny Kaye also produced a single for us. Lenny Kaye from the Patti Smith group. So, we had a lot of amazing people work with us that we didn't listen to.
Yeah.
But he's a doll. Richie's a doll. And also I love Wino. I met him the first time we went out into LA, and he gave me a St. Vitus t-shirt. I loved St. Vitus. And I love Tim Shaw too. He's our buddy. He's like, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to have Wino on. He's the real deal, you know.
He is, yeah.
And Tim too, you know, Tim does the goat yoga, you know,
Tim
in
is
Jersey.
He is the freaking best. Yeah.
Yeah. Tim's a part of our family at the Bowery Electric now. He plays a lot of our you know, his band Fuck It I Quit. We consider them, you know, they're part of our like thing.
Awesome.
Hey Scarlett asks, hello from California. Are you still producing your makeup line? I know we touched on it.
Yeah, I'm not anymore. I shut it in 2017 actually, but I miss it. Hopefully I'll get to make, you know, do something for another brand and make something nice.
I love this photo, and I'm just kind of I like to get all the photos. This is a great one. Like this one.
I like that too. That was from when we were on tour with Marilyn Manson in like '96.
Wow.
Also, my costume is made by David Dalrymple. Once again, my buddy.
How was it touring with Manson?
It was actually really great. It wasn't a big tour, and it was before they became really huge.
Yeah.
It was a really good crowd for us. At least I thought, you know, it depends on probably who you ask, but you know, having like these like little, you know, little boys in dresses with eyeliner on, they really saw us and they were like, we get you. And it was great. I think it was a really good combo. Yeah.
You know, looking at my notes, which I took so much time to put together and didn't even look at our whole show, but talking about bands that you open with, that you opened for and you played with: Ramones, Buzzcocks, No Doubt, Go-Go's, Rancid, No Effects. I bet touring with the Go-Go's was a blast.
It was so much fun. That tour, that was the Go-Go's in Berlin and us.
Wow.
So it was really fun. They are also very, very much kindred spirits. Such fucking cool chicks. I watched their documentary recently, and it's really great. It's
good. It's very good.
They were a punk band, and then they just, you know, they blew up, but they're still at heart, they're still fucking punks.
Yeah. Well, once again, we just had Kira on the show, who played bass in Black Flag, and who was. She had some pictures of like them as like real early shots of the LA punk scene, and like they're in all the pictures, like you know, Darby Crash, you know, Brenda Carlisle, like whoa, Go-Go's in the mix, you know.
Yeah,
really good good stuff. Let's see. I'm not. Potluck 2 coming anytime soon?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that is.
So this
is that a film you were in?
I was in a film called Potluck that was
that's
what it was, made by High Times magazine. And we were in it, and I was like one of I was like the female lead in it, and it was really fun. There were all these crazy. It was one of those movies where Sean's in it too. My husband's in it too. But there are all these like stories crossing each other, and like Sylvia Miles was in it, and I mean there were so many legends in it. Like, and a lot of people haven't seen it, and it's, you know, it's one of those very crazy cult, you know, deep cuts.
You were in Zoolander too for a second, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
That was a pretty funny movie.
I was supposed to be in more of it, and they cut me out, which was a bummer. But yeah, I mean, you can see I still get residuals.
Oh, really?
I'm barely in it, because I had like a real role, even though they cut it out. It's pretty cool.
That's what a good agent's for, right?
Yeah.
You know?
And SAG. That was SAG.
Oh, here's an interesting SAG. Marka, how was Bringing Out the Dead to work on? Was Scorsese rad? Please say yes.
He was so cool. Like that was, I did an audition for his casting agents, who were these two women who were really cool. And then they had me come back and audition for him. And it was in some big hotel. And I was just like in the zone that day. And I was like, I'm going to fucking nail this. And I walked in and it was like one line or something maybe. And then he had me improv a little bit, and I improv'd, and I left and I was like, I know I got this part. He was so cool. Yes, he ruled. He's amazing.
Isn't it nice once in a blue moon when you have that feeling? You're like, I fucking nailed it.
Yes. I was like, I couldn't fuck that up. I fucked a lot of things up, but I knew that I would not fuck that up.
Christopher Valdez asked, didn't you guys tour with the Dictators?
We did. That was our first full U.S. tour, was with the Dictators. And because first we went out to L.A. and we played a run of shows that Jennifer Finch from L7 booked for us. And then we went out on a full tour with the Dictators, and we were in a minivan. So we're like basically in like a car. Okay. And that was super fun. It was really cool.
They were a fun band there for a while. Rich, our good friend and supporter, Rich Zoller, sent me this shot, which is a recent shot.
Oh yeah.
Why do I think, was this Jesse's Christmas thing, or?
This was the holiday fundraiser for
Howie?
Wait, this was the memorial for Howie. This was after Howie was gone. And we played Celebration of Life. That's what that was.
He sent it to me. He told me what it was.
Yeah, because first I performed by myself with Sean for the fundraiser, and then this was the memorial, like the Celebration of Life was all of us.
Do you perform with Sean? Just you and Sean?
Yeah.
As a duo?
Yeah, and with sort of Jesse's band backing up. Right. We did I Want You Around by the Ramones.
And somebody asked, any Ramones stories and any sort of Ramones recollection?
Absolutely. I mean, when we got to play with them at the Ritz, when it was at the old Studio 54 space, we played up there with them, and we played up there with the Buzzcocks too. And then we toured Europe with CJ Ramone's band later, but he was just so friendly and cool. And this is really good. When I was in high school, there was and I, then it's like we had no internet. I can't even remember how I found this out. It might have been on the radio or something, and it was like, the Ramones will be at such and such bar this afternoon at and I went, and it was like middle of the day, cut out of school, went and met and hung out with, it was like Marky and Johnny Ramone at some place, and they were so nice. And playing with them was amazing. I mean, it was just, and then later on somehow, I can't remember it was either Rolling Stone or Spin, like Joey Ramone said we were in his new favorite band in some issue. And then I was like, there are certain things, like when you're such a fan of these bands and then they become fans of you, it's just like, it boggles the mind, and it's so special and incredible.
That's great. Here's another shot, really nice shot. Do you remember what this is?
That was from one of the Webster Hall shows.
The
second one. Yeah.
Really nice, very nicely composed shot.
That's Alex Thompson, who's an amazing photographer.
And this one, straight out of Blade Runner.
Oh, that is like from probably late 90s, and I think that is by my old roommate and friend Wendy Hope. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, nice, very nice shot.
Thank you.
Let me see. We'll do one or two more, and we'll go eat dinner. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to tell you also that
please.
He's my dad's cousin. This is the Jews and the Blues. My dad's cousin was a guy who just passed away this year named Danny Kalb.
What?
And he was in the Blues Project.
I know who he is.
Yeah. So that was my dad.
That's your dad's second cousin?
my dad's first cousin, so it's my second cousin?
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to tell him. I'm glad I remembered. And
Wow.
so the Blues Project then spawned, like, Al Cooper was in that band, who ended
Yeah,
up.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Al
so.
Cooper, Al Cooper, they say, discovered Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had Leonard Skinner if it wasn't for Al Cooper.
Yeah, but I mean, I was listening when Danny died. I was listening to some Blues Project stuff, and I was like, his playing was wild. It was like so ahead of its time. Really fascinating.
That was a great group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, originally the film The Jews and the Blues, what I set out to do initially was a lot of those kind of guys who were going to be the centerpiece of the film. Guys like what's his name from the singer for the Jay Giles band, Peter Wolf, the singer for the Jay Giles band, Jewish blues singer. A lot of but the film took a different turn when the pandemic hit, and I right before the pandemic hit, I went to Israel and shot so much great stuff in Israel and in the Middle East that it just, and you know how it is, working in the film business. Initially, you sort of set out to do one thing and you think it's going to be one thing, and you leave a little space there for the magic to happen, and it just takes you in another direction. And, that's what happened with that film.
Yeah. Every good doc, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say that a lot. Like when I do these Q&As and people ask me, I say, there's a lot I don't want to know going into a film. I like there to be a sense of discovery. And I feel that if I find it interesting and there's a sense of discovery, then the audience feels the same kind of way. Yeah.
Yes, I am a Kiss fan for sure.
Wait, where's that? Whoa. Oh, big Kiss fan. Oh, there you go.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rich Solar, will the Lunachicks perform again?
I assume so. We don't have anything booked right now, but he ain't dead yet.
No, I think that something can be said for sort of taking it the way you are, which is you're not overplaying. You're keeping it vibrant. When the right situation comes up and the right offer and it makes sense, then you go and you do it. That makes a lot of sense. Christopher Valdez asks, talk about doing the Jon Stewart show in the 90s.
That was so much fun. That was like a fluke with a friend who's a publicist, and she got me on the show as a guest, and it was the same day as Jerk of All Trades coming out, so it was like I had to go do that and then go to CBGB's to play our record release party, and Miss Guy came with me and helped me get ready, and I went out. I was wearing I think all leopard skin, and I just was about to walk out, and I just hit the floor. I'm like, I'm crawling out. I'm gonna do it. And he was in shock and was like, nobody's ever done that before. So that was awesome.
He was great. He really hosted a great show for a long time.
Yeah.
And what was his deal? Was he a barback or a bartender at City Gardens at the club?
No.
Yeah.
God, I didn't.
Hold on. Is that right? Was Jon Stewart a barback or a bartender at City Gardens? Is that why he's in the City Gardens? Our audience will know.
Yeah, why are there any women in that doc? And if there aren't, why?
In the City Gardens doc?
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know. She's on Instagram right here. It's spelled right now. There it is on Instagram.
Kogan,
if you want to reach out and follow, there it is.
Yes, Lunachicks official.
What's that?
Lunachicks official on Instagram for Lunachicks.
Got it. Yes, he was a bartender at City Gardens. Yes, Josh. Yes, he worked at City Gardens. Bartender at City Gardens. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. He's got that. I've heard him talk about it. Black Flag playing there, and like he was in the mix.
We played there with Fugazi, with Bad Religion.
Oh wow!
Mentors, with Social Distortion. Who else? Those off the top of my head. City Gardens shows.
I'm looking up some old ads. Let me see what I got here.
I never met Eve Plum. I wish. I've tagged her a bunch on Instagram from the Lunachicks posts, and I hope that she knows about the song Jam Brady. I really do. I would think by now she would, but I don't know.
Here is City Gardens. No, that's 1981. Oof. Well, you guys, you're not on this, but it's a real testament to what was going on at City Gardens. I mean, get a load of this. It's like Lena Lovitch is playing the day after Guar, you know, the Feelies, the Bullet Boys, Henry Rollins spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
They had an eclectic. Here's another one.
Guar were also kindred spirits with us. Like we played with them a lot, and we would hang.
Is that right?
Yeah, we were like such buddies, and we had the best time. We played a lot of New Year's Eves together. We would go like hang out with them and swim in Virginia, and they were so much fun. So much fun.
Here's another City Gardens. Look at this. Graham Chapman from Monty Python, Dr. Timothy Leary, The Descendants, and Anthrax and Frehley's Comet.
Oh my god!
Crazy.
Wow.
That's a good one. That's is that right? John Stewart once said his favorite band was Bad Religion. Yeah. Last question. And I sort of know the answer to this. You would think. Have all of your tattoos been done at the same tattoo shop?
No.
Yeah. No.
Many repeats, but no.
Yeah. That said, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was as fun as I thought it would be.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Please say hello to your husband for me.
I sure will.
Like I said, I'm a big fan of his work, and I appreciate all the help he's given me through the years. Is there anybody you want to thank or shout out on the way out?
I want to thank you. I want to thank Lunachicks. I want to thank Generation Records, too, for being so supportive of us over the years. We did a fun reading there for our book, Fallopian Rhapsody. I want to thank Gene Fury for helping us write our book and being our friend. I want to thank my daughter, Lucy, for being the best fucking kid in the world. And thank you all so much for tuning in.
Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Me too.
Well, there you go. Another one in the books. New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Great guest today. I hope you enjoyed it at least half as much as I did. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That was great. What can I say? We do great shows. Thank you, Rebecca. If you're new to this and you enjoy the show, please support it. If you can afford it, please join Patreon. We need the support. There's a PayPal address there if you want to make a contribution. You know what? But honestly, what matters is you're watching the show and you're enjoying it. The tie that binds us together, music. That's what's up. Yes, RS, absolutely. Much respects to Brooklyn. Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. What else? I know this show wasn't for me, but thanks for doing the show for me. I did it for you, bro. What do you think? I do this shit for myself? Listen, man, I've done it all already. I've lived it all. I've been on many stages, held many mics, took airplane flights. I do it for you, baby. Like and subscribe. I think I'm going down to see GBH tonight. I've never seen GBH. So bucket list could be tonight. Provided Dave, the lunatic from MDC, actually remembered to put me on the list. Thank you, Vernon. It was great. Larry Kelly, Mr. Wolf, what's happening? Get ready. Get ready, people, because this is going down in the park. Provided I could get back from Milwaukee. Listen, even if I don't make it back from Milwaukee, the show's happening. I'm just a cog in the wheel. Will there be a biohazard documentary? Yeah. Yeah. Where is? Yeah. Here I am shooting it. There you go. Me and Bobby Hambel. This is all stuff from LA. Evan Seinfeld, Evan and Bobby, me with the 456 bass. We all stayed in the Airbnb together. There's Bobby practicing. The Stone Brothers and Team Seinfeld. Danny from Biohazard making us breakfast. Me and Danny at the Lemmy Memorial at the Rainbow. And there they are, me and Biohazard. There you go. So yeah, it's going down. Yes, we it hasn't been officially announced, but it's going down. It better come out on DVD. What are you, living in a fucking cave, bro? Who fucking watches DVDs? Who makes DVDs anymore? No, it's going to be streaming, you know? Yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to seeing GBH. Listen, my shelf life at a show like tonight is probably 20 minutes. Because it's like going to be a packed fucking venue. You know, it's going to be like, yeah, I can't, you know. And once 10 o'clock comes, I fall apart, you know. Is that right? I saw Dave. Is that right, Rat Bones? You saw Dave? Did he say I'm on +1? Right. What's going on, Rat Bones? Haven't been on in a while. You ever going to come back on? Rat Bones! Come on, Rat Bones. It's all right. Yeah, Laserdisc. Yeah, it's coming out on cassette. Fuck listens to cassettes, man. I mean, I have a cassette player in my car, but even when a band gives me the shit on a cassette, it fucking sounds like shit. Cassettes sound like shit. You know? No, I'm taking my girlfriend. I have to bring Rochelle. I'm sorry, Rat Bones. I'm not even going to get into it, you know? I hope it comes out on a wax cylinder. Yeah, right? Like, here's a bit of a trivia question. What was the first recording that was ever made by Thomas Edison? What? And don't fucking look it up. What was the first recording? What did he record? Do you know? It was a song. It was a rhyme. Anybody? Alan Lomax. Yo, I'm not Alan Lomax a hardcore. The show's at the Gramercy Theater, Larry. Gramercy Theater. That's right. That's right. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, they don't. The Biohazard guys don't live in New York anymore. One of them does. Danny lives in Jersey. The other three guys don't live in New York. So, but we will be. But listen, it's going down when they play Irving Plaza. We're going to be doing some shooting around New York. Yeah, I shouldn't really talk about it. I'm not talking about it. Wrong number. Wrong number. Yeah. We're still going. Pig Champion saw the Lunachicks twice live at the Reading Festival first. Jaw-dropping, life-changing moment. Then in Edinburgh. So, we're even better. Yeah, they were great live. They were great. Great live. That said, hey, we will see you a week from today. There's no show on Wednesday. I'm doing a Patreon-only clip on Wednesday. So if you're a patron on Patreon, expect something this Wednesday. That said, thanks a lot, everybody. It was good to see you. Tell your loved ones that you love them. That's important. Until next time, do good things and good things will come to you.